What's up, guys? My name is Nick Rapazzi and welcome to the Paradise C6 YouTube channel. This is my 2005 C6 Corvette, and today we are going to be installing shocks and sway bars with brand new end links. These are the HD shocks, the V8 Bilstein. My rear have been blown out for the longest time, and I finally got around to ordering the shocks, get everything changed. And the body roll on the Corvette it's a little bit too much for my liking. I want it to be able to take turns a little bit faster. So I'm going to walk you through the whole process of changing the shocks and the sway bars. So let's get to it. Let's get this car jacked up and get into it. Alright, so we're in here for the shocks. Basically it's just one bolt up top, or nut, and then there's these two on the bottom right here, right and left. And then right here, as you can see, right inside there, that's the lowering bolt. So what I'm going to do on this is screw those in to bring the car lower, because it's going to make less space on the bottom. So I'm going to lube this up so this will come out easy, and just back this, or actually tighten this in as far as it'll go. There is a good about inch worth of space, so that means I'll get about an inch drop in the front. So let's get to it. Alright, so for the front shocks it's fairly simple. So like I said, it's that one 17 mil bolt. All I did was put a 17 on the gun and blasted it off. It came right off. And then down here there's the two bolts on the side. They're half inch, which is weird. The top's a 17, this is a half inch. So I'm just going to take these two bolts out, and then I'll show you guys me pulling the actual shock out. So let's get to it. So two bolts are out, both right here. Nuts loose on top. Take out the top bushing, and you can reach everything from right here. So next we're just gonna compress the shock and then wiggle it out of here. So let's get to it. Alright, so for the sway bar end link, you gotta have an Allen to hold the end in and a 19 to take the nut off. And then you just down still while you spin the nut off, comes right off. I did try to hit this with the gun just to see if the sway bar end link was just a little frozen in there, but it wound up just spinning on its own. So that's it, that's off. And this shock out of the way, and we'll hammer that out, because to me these really don't matter because I'm changing them anyway, so hammering this through there doesn't really affect anything. Alright, so instead of me trying to like hammer this out and get it to go, I'm just going to take the whole sway bar out as a whole piece. So taking these two bolts off on this side, there's two more on the other side, and the same thing with the bottom link, and it should come out way easier than with having a little bit more flexibility. So just gonna pull these out, and then I'll show you guys when the whole thing's out. So that's it on that. Took both these off. These bushings are kind of like just swaying in the wind. You can see how much play that's actually in them, and how tiny this sway bar actually is. I'll do a comparison and show you once I get the shocks out. So let me get to getting the shocks out, and then we'll get all the new shit in. So let's do it. All right, guys, so since everything's out, shocks out, the sway bar's out, and it's easy access to get to the lowering bolt right here. So I got this spring jacked up right now, and I'm gonna suck the bolt up into the spring so it'll lower it, and then we'll get back to installing the shock. The shock came out fairly easy once I got everything out of the way. All I did was compress the top, and then it slid right out. So when I put the new one in, I'm gonna compress it and probably zip tie it down. So when I go in there, I just cut the zip ties and it goes right up into place. So I'll show you as I do that how easy the install can be, because I didn't want to have to go through and remove the upper control arms and just cause more work for myself. Try to make this as easy of an install as I could. So let's get this thing lowered. All right, guys, so lowering the car isn't going to happen. adjustment bolt here. The top end of it stripped off. This thing's solid in there, so I'm gonna have to deal with stock ride height until I actually want to pull this leaf spring out and get that bolt out and put lowering bolts on, or when I just go coilovers next summer anyway. So it is what it is. Let's get this shock in here and get this side put back together, and then we'll do the other side and get the sway bar in so we can move to the back. I only got like maybe 3 more hours of daylight and want to get this done, so let's do it. All right guys, so new shock's in, single bolt on top, 2 on the bottom, and it's as simple as that. Still kind of bummed out I'm not gonna be able to lower this. There is almost about an inch gap it could have been lowered, but it's stripped out, so it's not an option for me. Let's get the other side done and then we'll move to the rear, and I'll show you how to put the new sway bar on in the front before I run back to the rear and start doing that. So let me get the other side done and I'll check in with you guys when I'm ready to put this front sway bar in. Right. So we got the second one in and it went in pretty smooth. One thing I do want to note is I did have to jack up the front to get the bottom 2 bolts in. The way the angle was, it was just a little off and a little short. Again, these are supposed to be used with lowering bolts or when the car's lowered, but I can't lower it because I stripped out one of the lowering bolts on the other side. So let's get to the sway bar so we can get that installed so we can move to the rear. So the rear, or the front sway bar, as you can tell, it is almost double in size, and same thing with the end links. They're almost twice the size. These little griddle things that the stock OEM shit is sucks, and these are adjustable and heavy duty. So the way the instructions say is to install the end links first, loose, don't tighten anything, and then put the sway bar up. So let's do that first. All right, so that's it. Everything's in, everything's tight, looks good under there. Shocks are all tight, everything's good. I did have these, I'm pretty sure these are for the switch inside for the shocks. These don't actually even have it, so I just left it on there. Hopefully it doesn't throw any light on or anything. But I'm gonna get the wheels back on and then we're gonna move to the back. Everything up here is all buttoned up and perfect, tightened up. Everything looks clearanced right. Went over the bolts twice, make sure that everything was good. So let's get the other side on. I'm still bummed out about not being able to lower it, but it is what it is. Let's get to the back. All right guys, so we're on to the back now. I have both wheels off on both sides, and here's the shock right here. So it's a 1/2 inch bolt up here there's 2 of them, and then on the bottom there's a 24 mil nut and the bolt heads on this side. So I'm gonna get the impact in there, get that out. I know for sure you can take these out without dropping any of the ball joints or anything like that, or any of the control arms. So I'm gonna get that done, get both sides done, and then we're gonna do the sway bar as well. I probably won't need to, the sway bar's right here, it's not gonna get in the way of anything of me getting the shock in and out. So I'm just gonna get the shocks done, then we'll do the sway bar, and I'll show you the comparison before I put the sway bar in, because same thing, this one's like pencil thin and that's almost 3 times the size. So let me get these shocks out and I will check in with you guys in a quick minute. All right guys, so like I told you, it will come out without taking the bottom off. All I did was I compressed up here, and then once I got into a position that I liked, I just used my pry bar right here and I pried that up over, and comes right out the side like that. As you can see, my hands are all covered in oil because the rear shocks, as I told you, were blown out. They've been blown out for a while and squeaking for maybe a year now, so it'd be nice to finally get these done. I'm gonna take this off because you got to reuse this top plate right here on the new shock, and then we'll reinstall this. All right guys, so we're under the car now. Both shocks are in on both sides. Now we got the sway bars, or the actual one sway bar. So it's got a bolt on this side and 2 here and then 2 there. So basically I'm going to take off these, then I'm going to take off the sway bar end links. I'm just going to take off the one that's connected to it because there's no reason to take off the smaller one. And then we'll get the new one in, and I'll show you the size comparison between the two. This one is pencil thin compared to the new one, so hopefully this will be a huge difference. But let's get these bolts off right here. This one's an 18 mil nut on this side with a and on this side. This one's just a bolt right into the frame here, the subframe here. So let's get these off. All right, guys, so these are the two sway bars right up against each other. As you can see, there is no comparison to this pencil thin, no bigger than my thumb. This is about twice the size of my thumb. It's insane how tiny this is. So hopefully this is gonna make a big difference. Who knows if I'll notice or not, but we'll see when I start taking some corners. I'm definitely happy that the shocks are in. The rear shocks were just spewing oil all over the place, so I know those were blown. The part on the passenger side was broken, so that squeak is gonna go away. I'm really excited to get this together, so let's get this sway bar in, and then we will basically go for a test drive, see how everything rides. All right, guys, so tires are on, everything's tightened down. I went over every bolt. I'm gonna drop it off these jack stands, torque down all the lug nuts, and then we'll take it for a drive, see how it goes. I'm starving, sun's almost down, so let's get this done so I can eat and then go to the gym. All right. All right, guys, so immediately right off the bat, I've noticed that the body roll is like non-existent anymore, whereas like it would throw me around if I try to take a corner at any sort of speed. So I'm very happy about that. And then the squeaking is gone. That was the biggest thing that aggravated me the most. So I'm glad both of those are done. So let's get this back home. I want to see if the car settled a little bit, because it did look like it was a monster truck when I put it down. So we'll see how much it settled, what it looks like down in its drivable position, and then I'm gonna head to the gym. So see you guys when I get back to the house. So that's it, guys. Still same stock ride height, did nothing change because we weren't able to adjust the bolts or anything like that. Still sitting pretty high, but it is what it is. I'm gonna end up getting coilovers later on anyway to get this done, but you can see everything inside there. Definitely quality parts. Definitely made a huge difference in the ride quality, and I'm extremely happy with it. Was it completely worth $1,100? That will be determined, but either way, it's still another mod in the right direction for everything that I want to do with this car, between roll racing, drag racing, and anything along those lines. But I hope you guys enjoyed this upload. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. And can't wait to turbo this thing. So I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.